friends, Romans, countrymen, lend me your ears.
I'm just imagining you. 3 of the scenes you're in: the funeral,
Yep.
the flashback with Vincent, and the whole first meeting of the critics.
Yes.
So I'm imagining you walking into this room and I'm just going to read the list, because anyone who knows that, you walk into a room containing Ian Hendry, Harry Andrews, Coral Brown, Robert Coote, Jack Hawkins, Michael Horden, Arthur Lowe, Robert Morley, Dennis Price, and then Vincent Price. How did that feel? I mean,
well,
presumably there was a reading beforehand, you met these people?
No, there were no readings. It was all done on a very small budget and very, very quickly, and rather irritably, actually, because Dougie Hickox, who directed it, really directed in a hurry. I don't know why there was so little money around, but I don't know what everybody was paid. It was Arthur Lowe. Did you mention Arthur Lowe?
Arthur Lowe, yeah.
That's sorry.
I mentioned other people who are in the room with you. There's more.
Yes, they come and go, and of course even the drunkards, the Sottos, they were ballet dancers, famous ballet dancers. I was in overwhelmed the whole time. I just adored everybody, without exception, really. I suppose especially Jack Hawkins. I got a little thing about him while I was doing it, but he's so gorgeous.
Now Jack, of course, by this point his voice lost his voice.
Well,
It'd been about 10 years.
He'd have been cut out.
Yeah.
And he was speaking through, you know, all gurgled and everything. So Charles Gray voiced it.
One other member of the cast I want to mention, because another of the ladies, because Coral Brown,
yes,
probably her main role in life started at this point, because this is where she became Mrs. Vincent Price.
Yes, that's right. They fell in love under my nose.
Do you have any memories?
Well, we had a lot of time to kill. I'm gonna have to put my cardigan around my shoulders, chaps. It is nice and warm in here. I tell Stuart quickly, but I will put this. There we are. Yes, lots of time. We were all spent most of every day from sparrows, as they say, in the morning until, you know, the last owl had gone to bed. I mean, night almost had become morning again, but, you know, they were very, very long days. Oh, I've never been so tired, and I always had to go home in between, because my dad said, you're going to come home or else. So I literally hit the sack and got up and went off again. But anyway. So we were all extremely tired, so we were sitting around on different chairs and makeshift beds and things like that, and Vincent Price was asleep most of the time. So I was sitting wherever I was sitting. There's dear old Vincent who found himself a plinth or something to sleep on, and there's Coral Brown all done up to the nines, sitting sort of next to me there, and I can remember this sort of desultory chat starting between the two of them. And I could tell that it was all really quite intimate and very pleasant going on. And indeed they actually fell in love, didn't they? Vincent is absolutely a throwback to what must have been the Victorian theatre and pre-Victorian theatre, when all that declaiming, yeah.
Well, I read that he did this film because he always wanted to do Shakespeare, but he was always, as soon as he was the horror guy, everyone gave him horror, and so he had this script where he gets to do all the big Shakespeare speeches he gets to do, To Be or Not to Be, and Friends for Every Countryman, and he just jumped on it. That's why he did the film.
Interesting. That's
so
interesting.
You appeared with Coral Brown in 2 films, wasn't it? Killing of Sister George.
Yes, so I did.
Yeah.
Oh, yes, in the taxi.
And she was known for having a colourful sort of language.
She did, but Victor, darling,
no.
I don't think my scene only involved Beryl Reid and the other nun. I don't think I met Coral, but what is so weird is that on my way home on the Underground, guess who I met? My Waterloo, the most unpleasant nun that was my teacher at school. And I remember saying to her, gosh, I've been playing a nun all day.
You didn't use her, channel her.
That is absolutely the truth as well. Sister Philomena.
Things for you to look out for, because there is a group of meth drinkers, which we mentioned earlier.
Oh,
choreographed by the wonderful Tutti Lenka. There's 2 of them who, one you will probably might recognise and one you won't. One of them is a chap called Declan Mulholland. You'll know he's the larger gentleman.
Yes.
He's around for a long time, and he's best known for a part that you never see him in, because he was the original Jabba the Hutt in Star Wars. when they filmed the scene, but then decided it was too expensive to make a puppet of Jabba the Hutt, so it was cut from Star Wars.
Gosh.
They were going to put a puppet on top of it. He was just doing he was walking as the character. But you will find him in the making of. Yeah, and they then, when they did a special edition, they added a CGI version on him. Well,
thank you very much.
Thank you, Madeline Smith. I do have a few things to say without